we've been doing this for like 5 months right now, and I get to notice that we are currently have a problem because lately I don't really tap into the collective. I don't really like look into what the community is talking about and all that stuff. And I'm just like in my own world and I'm just not really paying attention to other things besides my stuff. And I get to notice that I just don't have any topic. I never defined this as a struggle in the first place, but then I realized because I'm here, the internet is not good. So I hope it's still like record in some way, but I feel it will be hard to, I don't know, it will be hard at some point to just remember if it's like going well or not. But if it's not going well, if it's buffering, just know that internet is not good right now. So I start to see like this is a problem. Like I can't, I can't, I cannot not have a topic. Like it's because of the work that I'm doing. Not having a topic is like I don't really care, and I get to notice like okay, this is a problem. The first problem that we used to have were I don't think I have the time. The second is that I don't. What is the second one? I don't think I'm fluent enough to say what I have in mind. The third is that somewhat like I am not interested about the identity itself. Like what I'm saying is it practically just like a video log or stuff. And now we are arriving at this problem, which is like I don't have any topic. It has been a common occurring lately, and this cannot go on. I understand that. I feel like when I'm getting back into posting in my main social, which I have been delaying for so long, and I don't know why I did this. Actually, I do, but it just like everything has been ready for quite a while, but I've been struggling with the timing, and that's why I'm letting go the pseudoscience and all that stuff. But no, since we just let that go, I'm still rearranging the system in myself. And now we are arriving in this problem. I don't have any topic. I still don't have any topic right now. So for the majority of this live stream will be about that. But it's not like nothing can be said. I just don't particularly land on special message today to share with you. So it's somewhat disappointing. And I get to notice that today. Hmm. And it's not that hard actually. Whenever I entered someone else's world or reality, I would have something to say. It is part of my response nature. Is that if you have this going on, then you probably can try this one thing. It's a really common occurrence in my life when I see someone else have a problem, and I always have something to say, whether it's aligned with their journey or not. It doesn't matter. It's just that we can explore it this way, and if you feel aligned, if you feel okay, I can do that, then you probably would actually try what I just said. But I haven't entered someone else's world for so long. It's been fun. Like the in the Sunday hangout, I say something about I love the now, the present time, the blue sky, the green leaves, the vibe, the feeling of my current reality. It's just like it's so serene. I don't want to make another mess around it. But now because we are staying too long, it's actually become a still water. Like it started to get toxic because of how still we are. Just like water is staying still for so long, and there is so many bacteria in the water because of how there's no movement at all. That's what we are at. But even so, I still love this moment, this present. I'm thinking about like what could be mm, contributing to this present moment, this problem. And I say it to myself that okay, we actually hasn't been well for quite a while. That makes sense. And another reason is that we can say that we are scared at some point. So defining problem. Now I'm getting back to the topic. This is such a beginner friendly step if you are trying to improve your life. Define your struggle because sometimes you experience discomfort, but you have yet to verbalize it in a word that you understand. And I currently understand that I have this problem. And the moment I define it as a problem, I began to brainstorm of what could be the solution, what could be the reason, what can be the solution and all that stuff. And I see the journey and how can this be easy and all that stuff. And for so long, I used to feel so frustrated about this because it's like I'm I'm like staying still, but I have the problem and I'm like I don't know why. And I didn't know that I didn't define the problem enough, the struggle enough to go into the next stage, which is finding the solution, finding the reason, and eventually go on the journey to have everything resolved or unravel. And frustration is my biggest, what do you call it? My biggest discomfort because feeling frustrated for so long is actually really has the same level of pain as anger. Anger is just like you are containing that power within your system and you can't get it out, and that's why you feel angry. But frustration, it's more of like I know what to do, but I also don't want to do it, and all that stuff. That pull and push between your energy, it's draining you so much that you can't actually do anything else. And I'm in that stage of frustration, and I began to notice what did I do whenever I have this frustration riling up inside of me, and I get to remember about define the problem, define the struggle. Because I also have that problem, which is I just feel frustrated because I am not a talker. I mean, I feel the energy, I feel the feeling. It's just that I am such a non-human experience in the first place that feeling something doesn't equal as an action for me. And I need to force myself to alchemize the situation so that I move, so that I take action. And this is how I actually tackle that, which is define the struggle. What are you experiencing right now? Say it with your own words. Doesn't matter how long you say it, how stretch the words you say it. Eventually, you find a way to that help you understand it more clearly the more you define it. Now, it is very different when you are integrating whatever solution you have. When integration happens, you essentially don't think. You let the feeling, you let the situation compress itself into such a small detail that eventually you just know. And there's no need for you to unravel, start defining stuff. You just like, I know what this is. And then you just like collapse all the things that like a closing, it like closing a book and eventually putting it in the draft somewhere. And that's what integration is. And I have been doing that for so long, but now I'm opening up another book and we are arriving in this bookmarks, which is I don't have any topic. It's pretty mind numbing to say it this way because it's not like I don't have a topic. I just don't feel I want to talk about something very important. But yeah, thankfully I get that one out because sometimes I talk in such a short explanation that I'm just like skipping something. And that's what we had in Sunday Hangout. We just talked about a few things that is coming across my mind, not really diving deep into the situation or the experience. And I kind of like regret it a bit because I just talk about what is, not really helping you understand how that thing can be better or simpler or easier to understand. And I just like sharing what I know, what comes into my mind. And I'm like, yep, that's what happened. But now it's very different. We are diving deep into defining your struggle. And that's why like there's so many different pathway to actually deal with your inner work journey, whatever personal development journey you're in. Because at one point you are doing this, which is the exact opposite for the next stage. And this is like why sometimes it was so confusing in personal development because you need to have that flexibility to understand, okay, this is where I'm at and we're going to do it this way. And then the next time you actually arrive in a different area of your journey, you actually doing the practically the opposite thing what you did. So this is what that is. So you are flipping your mind, switching on and off about something, and it's not easy to actually get on board every single time because sometimes you can get confused, you can feel tired, you can actually want to stop. And I do a couple of times thinking about stopping. The internet is not good at all. It's red right now. Now green. Red is bad, green is good, and now it's like a 6,000 kbps. Pretty good. So that's one of the direction I want to give you if you are just starting your journey in personal development or whatever struggle you want to resolve. And first and foremost is actually just define the struggle. What are you experiencing? Just like how I did. But coming back into the solution itself, it's actually really easy. But also like it's easy because it's done within yourself. If you are working with someone else, you need to guide the person who help you to understand, oh, I'm actually this type of person. I have these resources. I have this preference and all that stuff. That thing matters. If the person you are working with doesn't ask you any of that, then you are working with a mentor you're probably working with a mentor, and that person have their own way. Now my way is actually my work is actually pretty different, because I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm actually compounding every aspect of your life to make the next step actually more effortless and easy for you to take. Not because I say so, because it actually evidently stated with your own words that that was easy for you. That is easy for you. So that's the only difference. But also, that's why it's actually really complex work, because I need to understand what kind of chamber we are working with, kind of system of the chamber we are working with, because everyone has very different way, even me. So I'm not really the person who will go, this is the only way you can go for it this way. I always have that question like, okay, you can probably go for it this way, or this way, or this way, or this way, but how do you actually make sense of which one is the best way for you? By understanding who you are, what's your preference, how you want to go about it, and all that stuff. That thing matters. It took me a while to actually understand that part, because no one out there actually say it. They essentially just say, well, do your way. And it's even more confusing than actually saying, what do you like? And some other people just selling their own way for most of the case. So that's why I am offering how I do my work differently, because I understand the struggle in this area. And that's the solution of it. And there's actually so many other steps. So many people actually have it mixed, because if they understood that someone out there go for resolving their struggle in such a way that they thought like that is the step that they need to go for. But actually, no. Some people might have a very short journey. Some other people might actually have a really strenuous and long ass journey, because of how much aspect of their life is connected to that struggle. At the beginning of my healing journey in 2018, I only want to clear how I breathe, because I cannot breathe properly. And that's how bad I was when I started my healing journey. I actually cannot breathe. I forgot how to breathe. It feels like whenever I breathe, I need to take a very deep breath, because it doesn't feel enough. And then later on, I understand that, oh, I actually cannot breathe because of my sexual trauma, because I also doesn't am very malnourished at the time, and also because my body alignment is so messed up, and that's why like my lungs is actually collapsed in such a way, and also doesn't have any supporting system that can help me take breath without me being so conscious about it. And it eventually got me into understanding how my body works, how my trauma affects me, and how I can resolve it at some degree that it doesn't impact my life in such a way. But yeah, that experience is actually really long. It took me like freaking 2 years to eventually have a really solid breathing without so effortlessly, so easy, without me having to relapse over trauma or whatever struggle I had at the time. It's a really long journey. But some people out there might actually have the breathing session a lot easier to do, because they already did like step 1 or 2 3, like you already are okay with your nutrition, you're already okay with your body alignment, you're already okay with your trauma healing whatsoever, that part of the journey, that part of yourself. So you don't need that long year to actually heal how you breathe. Now that's just my journey, but yours might be different. And that's why, like, you tune into yourself. If you find someone out there share their how, you can try it, but don't expect that your journey will be as easy as theirs, because sometimes people forget how difficult it is to actually resolve a struggle. Honestly, I even forgot some of how what were the details of my steps to go from step one to step two, because that journey also has a gap between it to eventually understand, oh, I'm ready for step two. That understanding too, like I'm ready for the next steps, is also like a really embodiment thing. Like you cannot learn it from someone else. You can actually hear some other people say, okay, this is the sign for you if you're ready for this, if you're ready for it. But actually, I feel like life is so subjective that you cannot even define such a thing by someone else's experience. And you need to tap into yourself, trusting whatever journey you're in is your best option, not really depending on other people about, okay, this is the sign, this is the solution, this is the step, just go for it. And I'm like, how wonderful. That sounds really easy because you say it like that. But actually, it's a lot harder because embodiment is the problem here. You will not know until you experience it yourself. So, best condolence for you, because the journey is not easy. I actually have a really great idea to post this about you will fail. I won't sugarcoat whatever experience you're in. Like it's gonna be easy and all that stuff. No, you will fail. For me, it's a lot easier to expect like that rather than, oh my god, it's going to be easy, it's going to be effortless, it's going to be like nothing is going um to be difficult because you have made all this stuff. I'm like, realistically, let me say it realistically. Realistically, it's not easy, but the more you are deeper into the journey, the more information you have, and then the more connection you will find about your situation, and that's why it becomes easier. Not that it will be easy. I know that the banner of my main channel in YouTube, in whatever channels of social media I have, is actually allow this lifetime to be easy. Not because I expect the journey to be easy, it's because I have a tendency to make things harder, to go for the most difficult level of the journey. And I'm like, I don't need to be that person. Like the journey can be easy when I allow it to be easy. But it doesn't mean that realistically it will be easy. There will be phase where you would just feel so confused, feel so frustrated, feel so tired about your journey. Doesn't make it easy, but you can feel that it will be easier if you just follow the track of where you at. Not really like jumping the line, bypassing whatever struggle you have. Just be there. Just experience the moment and you will start noticing, oh, actually, this part of the struggle is about this. And that's about the define your struggle is all about. It's not about like you taking the next step very fast. It's just about you being present with where you are. understanding that you will find a way, you will find your timing, you will find the time collapse on its own, and you start moving faster than ever, and you start to speed up naturally, not because of you feel the pressure to speed up. You're just like naturally speeding up because everything has found its way, has found its place where they need to be, and you don't need to be the driving force of, okay, you need to do it this way, you need to do it this way, like micromanaging your system. When you're ready to do that, the process will be faster. And that's how where I'm at. And also, like, I have shared this before about, like, do not compete with the master, no matter what kind of master they are. Maybe they are already far ahead from where you are, and they are master in their own experience. Maybe they are gifted in some way and they don't need to learn it because they already accumulating enough bandwidth to let the things flow effortlessly. Those people doesn't need to learn anything. They just like need to let it flow. And those people is people you cannot compete. It's fascinating to actually facing those people because you get to see I am actually still far away from where they are, and I can't wait to be where they at. That is the only thing about masters in every area of this lifetime, is that they are here to inspire you, to let you go for the next thing, not to do it their way. It's impossible. Find your own way. Do it yourself, your way. You know, I am so ingrained in this like independence about finding your own shit, not following other people, following your journey, not really collapsing all the necessary steps, because it is important. Because sometimes, I have said this before too, we are not, sometimes we are not blessed with the most basic things in life. I'm certainly not blessed with my family, but also like it's not like I cannot get the information that I need from my family by myself, because I eventually find that thing myself, because I understand that I'm already an adult. I can find the things that I need because I know I have the power, I have the resources, I have the connection. So that things matter, not because you need to force it, but because it happened eventually and you're not blocking the way. So yeah, this has already been like a natural thing for us when I'm just skipping here and there, not really talking anything, but then we already arrived at 30 minutes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.